Between the Paps and the Coors, and the two swinging doors, faded words, but he read them just fine. If you cheat, hope it's death that you're cheating. If you lie, lie with someone you love. If you fight, do it for the right reasons. If you drink, then come drink one with us.
Well, hey there, everybody.
What's going on?
Hope you guys liked our new intro. This is If You Drink, and it's happy hour somewhere, and we are here this week with a special co-host, Minnie from the bar. Thanks for coming on, Minnie.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for having me. Should be an interesting show because I think we had something else kind of in the works.
We did. We had a guest for tonight, but I think he may have gotten the times mixed up because he was supposed to check in about 10 minutes ago. So he's in Central Time. I usually send my guests Eastern Time. So hopefully he sees my Facebook message and is able to hop on with us because I really wanted to bring him on. I met him in Nashville at a Reverend Warrior hike, and he is an Army veteran that's now a race car driver. And he's got this cool gator. If you guys ever worked around the alligators, you know how cool of dogs they are. She's super sweet dog, and she's actually got her own Instagram. Her name is Rily Ann. And I was hoping that he would be coming on with her, but I guess we'll just hang out. Hey, Granny Lisa. Hi, Keith. Thank you guys for watching. I guess I need to get my comment section up on here. So after a year, I finally got a logo and an intro. I thought it was about time. So I'm still kind of trying to figure out StreamYard. I've never really dived into it more than hitting kind of live and going from there. So I'm trying to catch up with everybody. So how's it going? How's it going for you, John?
Still standing, still looking at the right side of the grass. So, not too bad, I suppose. Just awaiting the pending eruption of the massive amounts of corned beef and cabbage I had when I got home today. So that should be fun later. My wife's super going to love me after that. But hey, she made it. And I don't know, just enjoying the week. The weather has finally, hopefully, took a turn for the better. So, just kind of enjoying, hopefully, spring arriving and, getting more sun and getting more vitamin D and just enjoying life and, having a drink with one of my friends. So,
hey. Nice. Just water for me today. But yeah, it's pretty. We were supposed to be home for dinner, and then I didn't think we went to go pick up something. I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it back. So we stopped for dinner at this absolutely amazing place called, what was it called? K-Bop or Poke Bop?
Oh, is that the thing Michelle told you about?
No, she told me about something else in Grove City, but it's basically sushi in a bowl without the seaweed. It was amazing. Like, I love sushi. I could eat that. We both got the volcano. I could eat that like every single day. It's just like everything that I try here in Columbus. I'm just like, this is freaking like the best food ever. And you and a couple other people told me that Columbus is a food testing city.
Yeah.
Like if you want to open a new restaurant and you want it to be a franchise and chain, you need to like test it out in Columbus, Ohio to see if it's actually going to work or take off. And so There's just so much food here that's new to the market. And I've been taking advantage of that completely.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. The only thing I don't like about this town is the wind. That's about it. But
it is kind of flat. Oh, so
yeah.
Evening, Jessica. Oh, Gene is saying shots. Well, Gene, we're not on the bar, and all I got's water because I didn't make it home to get the liquor.
I got you, Gene. No worries, dude.
Minnie's got it.
No worries.
And he's got his horn. I told Michelle, I was like, I need a horn. I want one of those.
It was like $15 at a Renaissance fair, which I highly recommend. Anybody, if you've never been, go. If you're a people watcher like me, and I'm not a people watcher because I'm a super perv, might be a little perv, but just bartending for so many years, you get to sit back and watch people all night from stone cold sober to just, first semester away from college, 3 sheets of wind, white girl wasted. And so you get to see development of people and everything. And Renaissance Fair, there's fun. However, beware
They
the
are
mead.
fun.
Beware the mead. Ooh.
I do like mead because my friend
dirty.
has a meadery in Atlanta, and she's the one that introduced me to it. She brought me a whole case of it because I let her stay at a hike. I was like, she wanted to come up, and we'd never met. I was like, just come stay in my room. I've got plenty of room. So she brought me a whole case of mead from her meadery in Atlanta, and I fell in love with it. It's so good.
Yeah, I wouldn't have left the house for a week. I wouldn't have been able to leave the house for a week. It's so delicious. However, be warned, it's like times 10 a wine hangover, which is like bad even then. So,
Yeah.
but oh my gosh, is it went with my wife and halfway through the thing, I'm like, I might be in trouble. She goes,
Tim says meat sneaks up on you. It does, but I have to commend her. It's called the Viking Alchemist Meadery, and when you walk in, they have a wall of horns, so people can leave their horns there to come back and forth and drink. But they have so many amazing flavors and different kinds, and they've kind of expanded out into, I think it's called Beeswork is their new beer line. But it's a cool little place. It's right outside of Atlanta. I can't remember what that city outside of Atlanta is called. It's north of it. But yeah, great little place. She turned me on to it, and I actually prefer that. I just can't find mead in very many places.
No, it's you can find it at a decent liquor store, but you're going to pay a lot, and you're not going to get much. It's not going to be very high quality. So you do got to seek it out. When you find it, grab a whole bunch of it and take it home. So yeah. Oh man.
Stefan is airborne every week.
Oh yeah, happy airborne.
This diehard airborne.
Hey,
happy airborne hump day.
I have nothing but love. I have nothing but love for the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. They're the best at what they do for sure. They are, without question. And if you're willing to sign a contract for a couple extra bucks a month to jump out of an airplane, then knock yourself out. Yeah, absolutely. I'm the real idiot. I went and did it I had to pay to do it.
Yeah, because I'll have to pay to do it. That's like on the bucket list. Is at least one time I want to skydive.
See, everybody who says that, like, I'm just gonna do it once, they get hooked. And I got hooked for a while. I got to 14 at one point, and before I moved away from the place I was going to, northwest of Chicago, and all the way from just a little pop and hops I went to a 2-day class and got to do solo the first time. And after that, they trust you to go to certain heights and then higher and higher. And sometimes it was shitty weather, like, well, we can only go to 5,000. Well, damn. I only get to jump out of an airplane at 5,000 feet. That's horrible. What am I ever going to do with myself? Oh, and then I get to go back to the bunkhouse and get wasted with a bunch of people who love doing the same thing. Yeah, it's terrible. Terrible. I sunk a lot of money into that place. I got to look it up sometime and give them some love. But, yeah, I mean, you do it once, do it the first time. I didn't want somebody on my back for any other reasons. That, like, I think Bill Engvall did a bit about it, where he was like, I was scared. He's screaming, I'm gonna die. Nope, you are. He just lets the guy go. Yeah, you're gonna hit first, bro. But most people do it like that, and it's relatively cheap. I think you can do it from like 150 to 275 for a tandem jump. And but once you do it, I put the disclaimer out there. It messes with your head. You're like, oh.
That was awesome.
I lived. I want to do it again. Everything is awesome. Yeah. So.
I remember this one time when I was in Bragg and we were all having dinner, and I was out with the Delta team, and they wanted to go party, and they all had to skydive like really early in the morning. I was like, guys, I gotta like go back. I have to be at a briefing at like 6 a.m. And they're like, oh, no worries, man. We gotta we're gonna be going out on the plane like early in the morning. And I was like, no, but like literally I have to be there at 6 a.m. They're like, that's okay. We'll have you back at 5:30. We've got Doc with us. We've got IVs. Like, We got you covered.
Those guys are savages, man. They are. They are.
They drink all night and then jump out of a plane and like just land and just start walking towards you. Like, hey, how's it going? Like, did you just jump out of an airplane?
Yep. Hammered. Semi-hammered. Yeah, I dated a girl who was a corpsman, and she became an RN, and we'd go out for the weekend, and she would just bring a bag with her. Just a go bag of just IVs, solutions, saline, everything. Like, she's like, I can do myself, but I'm gonna have to do you. I'm like, okay.
I never even like thought about that. And actually, my son will probably kill me for telling this story, but we went to Key West a couple of months ago, and I think someone slipped something in his drink.
Oh, really?
Because I went back. We were camping, and I went back to the camp, and he stayed out for a little while longer, and he came back really, really late, and he goes, Mom, I don't know what's wrong. He's like, I swear to God, I did not drink that much. He was so hungover. We couldn't do anything the next day in Key West, like nothing. We had to drive around and find an IV shop. It was like $130 to get an IV in Key West.
Cheaper than an emergency room visit, and all the tests are going to run to find out what's in there that you kind of almost already know that something was in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's happened. I've seen it happen. You know, in my years of bartending, I've seen it. Seen guys try to pull that shit. Now, I didn't catch them in the act. I caught them midway through. Like some girl goes from zero to hero.
Like, it doesn't matter if it's male or female.
Oh yeah,
like,
sure.
They'll do it to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And, maybe it's just to rob you. It doesn't have to be anything like all pervy. It's just, you know, take you outside, give you a cigarette, and thump you on the back of the head, and that's all she wrote.
They were doing that with some Marines and sailors in San Diego. They like put out a memo about don't take taxis from downtown anymore because taxi drivers were coming up from Tijuana, picking up the drunk Marines and sailors, driving them back across the border, robbing them by taking them to an ATM, and then they would take them back across and dump them back out.
Interesting. Yeah, good times, good people. Love this world.
Shenanigans.
Evil shenanigans. Somebody else say shenanigans. Come on, do it.
Shenanigans. We need to have a show called that. Shenanigans. George and I were talking about bringing on a veteran dating show. What do you think about that?
Oh, you know, we did it right in the like after the few weeks of Genesis after VRS started, if whatever you want to call it, and it was a riot. It was radio, but it was funny. I mean, yeah, but it's gonna require some extreme vetting on our behalf, for sure. But it can be very, very fun. I mean, if you do it kind of like, you know, the
like
dating
game show,
Bachelor, you know, kind of like, yeah, you have one poor female soul out there subjected to 3 bachelorettes or bachelors, whatever. Yeah, bachelors.
We could like make it like there's like rotating bachelors coming on. That's a really good idea.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you viewers think of that? I think it sounds like an awesome idea. I just know like so many. We have like private veteran female dating groups.
Yeah.
That we like talk about, you know, they talk about shit about the dating world, and I went on this date with this guy, and like they're asking advice and all this stuff, and then they'll like screenshot and like show us the screenshots, and we're like, oh my God, people are crazy.
I don't think as a guy I ever asked for dating advice from anybody. It was almost always anecdotal or retroactive. Like it would blow up, and I'd be like, "What the hell happened?" They're like, "Well, you did this, this, and this, and this wrong." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks. Could have told me that during." They're like, "Nah, way too fun to watch you go down and burning in flames. That's how you learn." I'm like, "I'm heartbroken and crushed. I've been in my apartment, you know, crawling inside of a bottle for 2 days. What's wrong with you people?" So, that's how you learn, bro. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
I stopped online dating about maybe 5 years ago, I think. When I got back from Afghanistan, I was in a state that I didn't know anybody, and I was forced to stay there for custody. And I had 3 kids on my own, working full time, going to school. I was like, I don't have time to like meet anybody, so I'm gonna try this online dating thing. Man,
it's
people
scary.
were catfishing back then too. Like, people do not look like their pictures when you meet them. Like, dudes are not anywhere near as tall as they say that they are. They're like, even the guys are like taken at angles and stuff. They don't look anything like some people I didn't even recognize when we finally would meet up. And it was just crazy. I mean, I clicked with a couple of them, and I actually had, somewhat long-term relationships with two guys I met on there. But after that, I was like, yeah, never again. I'm not putting myself out there. I just didn't think about the danger of it either, really.
Yeah.
And I see some of my girlfriends doing it, and I can't even imagine just like going to meet a stranger right now for dinner.
It seems weird. I don't think I ever created a profile on an online dating site. Never looked into it. It wasn't really like a necessary thing because I spent so much time working at bars. Which, yes, Mom, I know. I remember you told me never meet a girl in the bar. Well, guess what? That was my place of employment, 8 hours a day, usually 4 nights a week in a day shift or so. So that's just how it worked out. But yeah, for a woman, it just seems so sketchy. I mean.
Yeah.
Just no.
Thinking back, I was like, God, that was just like so freaking stupid. Like, what the hell was I thinking? So I have this really crazy story. Like, you think meeting a stranger is crazy? I actually went all out one time, and we ended up having like a 3-year relationship. But I like flew to New Orleans and had a 60-hour first date. Like, we just like, I was like, fuck it. I'll fly to New Orleans. I've always wanted to go to New Orleans, and hung out. We got along. We became great friends, and we ended up dating after that for a couple of years. But that was like I got asked that in Boca Raton actually when I was down there for the hike last month. These people were going around recording with a microphone, and it was Valentine's Day, and they're like, "What's the craziest thing you've ever done on a date?" And I told that story, and this guy's face was like, "Oh my God, what the hell's wrong with you?"
A lot. How much time you got, bro? How much data is in that? How much data is in that?
I ran a background check. I can defend myself.
New Orleans will make you do some weird things. That place is so much fun. It really is. Once you get off of Bourbon Street, don't ever go. You go there once, spend about 5 minutes with your whatever money and valuables you have stuffed somewhere very naughty that most people won't automatically reach for. Spend 15 minutes on there. Get off and actually go see like Treme and the rest of New Orleans.
Oh yeah, there's so much
Bourbon
more
Street's
to New
rubbish.
Orleans than drinking. It's because I would go back there he would come back and forth, and I would be there about every 3 or 4 months. And yeah. I love New Orleans. I mean, there's the food, the music, the people. There's amazing museums and parks and so much to do. It's definitely not just about partying. And even Mardi Gras. I've been to Mardi Gras several times.
Yeah,
it's very family oriented, actually.
I mean, the whole city turns out for it. It's not just
it's a week-long celebration in the state. They shut down schools for it, and you got little kids out there for all the different social club parades, and they've got all these wooden boxes on these ladders to catch all because they don't just throw candy, like they're throwing good swag. The kids are out there with these huge boxes, like trying to catch everything. So. And the food is phenomenal. We got crawdad hot dogs and crawdad nachos. And
po' boys all day. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I love it. And actually, that was the first time I ever saw All Them Witches at One Eye Jack's Saloon. One of the best concerts I've ever been. And that weekend, we went to like All Them Witches and then Blue October at the House of Blues. House of Blues, by the way.
That's a great venue, the House of Blues there. Like, I thought they were going to mess it up, like really mess it up.
They did mess it up for this one.
But it wasn't as bad as I thought they were going to.
Yeah, the standing room floor, I was too short to see anything, so we went up top. But they had everything blocked off for VIP, so you couldn't like get up there and kind of like look over the balcony at all. Yeah. But All Them Wishes was it's in an old saloon theater. Like the front of it, they've converted into a bar. And the first time I went there, I didn't realize that there was more to the bar. The second time we went back and there was a concert, they opened up these doors and there was a whole old theater in the back. And then there's a bar in the middle of that theater. They took out all the theater seats. And then so you can just like go to the bar in the center and you can dance on the sides or up front. And they got the band playing, and it was like, it's one of my favorite bands now. It's just like they travel over the world, and they're like, I don't even know what you would call them, southern rock mixed with a little bit of emo, and it's very
Hmm.
cool stuff.
Yeah, one of mine that came out there, I saw it on there. I think they're called the Dead South.
Yep.
I love them. It's very bluegrassy, which if you live in Kentucky, you better learn to like. You know,
Mhm.
so but from bluegrass came bluegrass is it's the Scott Irish mix. Look, the best music comes out of sometimes the shittiest places. Like a lot of our music, rock and roll, everything like, came out of the South. It did. It came out of the blues and slavery and blue across of that and bluegrass. And then the English took it and kicked it up a knot, and then it came back here, and we kicked it up a knot. But it all came from a lot of it came from the South. So yeah, I mean, I'm not as big a music freak as my wife is. I'm a comedy stand-up show freak, and she's the music
The
one. But
music guru.
oh, she loves going to live shows, and I'm just like, ugh. No, no. I'm not a big fan of those, but whatever. It is what it is. Gotta get your enjoyment any way you can. The way the world's going, who knows? We might not be here in a week. Just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. And so speaking of Kentucky, I'm gonna be going there here in a couple of days,
Yeah.
and I've really learned to. I love Tennessee, and I love what I've seen in Kentucky because they've got some really beautiful landscape, and they've got incredible waterfalls.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you get on that border area between Kentucky and Tennessee, when you start getting in the Smoky Mountains, it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. And if you don't mind taking like 20 minutes to get up to your mountain cabin, then you're good. And you're just doing this, But it's beautiful, and it's you can find some real peaceful places, and that's all. I live in suburban hell right now, and eventually, but at least when I retire, if I make it that long, God willing, yeah, I just want somewhere quiet, preferably the desert, but because I guarantee that's quiet. But I don't know. It is what it
I've lived
is.
in the desert, and I would say that it's nice to visit. It does have its own kind of beauty. But the
Sure.
only time I really found it beautiful is after it rains.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Oh, yeah. Everything
I would
just
go out and
instantly
like
blue. Yeah.
everything's glistening and like little critters are coming out, and so then it is really beautiful. But I lived in Albuquerque, which is high desert, for like 13
Yeah.
years and zero humidity.
I'm okay with that.
Now I'm living in so much humidity in Florida that literally I feel like I'm underwater swimming when I walk outside.
Oh, yeah. You can through the
I'm
air.
just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
my nose feels like I'm underwater, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
John, I put this up here. Yes, we can see you.
I'd take
Thanks, John,
Texas
for
over
coming on.
Florida.
John is a weekly guest along here with Gene and Miss Michelle, Minnie's beautiful wife. Sorry I missed dinner tonight, Michelle. We got caught up on a shipment that was going to take a little bit longer than I thought. But Michelle's a great cook. She always has like dinner waiting for all of us, and I just love her. She's awesome.
Me too, a little bit
You
most of the
too.
time.
So, I saw that cool picture of you guys that you posted. You guys are all dressed up.
Yeah, it was our tradition in Cincinnati. I used to work for this really high end. I'm very proud to work for them for as long as I did. It's a very high end steakhouse. I don't want to call it a chain because I think in total there's maybe 5 restaurants. A couple, I think 3 in Cincinnati, 1 in Louisville, 1 in Columbus. And it's Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse. And I worked there for years. I worked in the kitchen actually for a year because we had our flagship restaurant broke off its moorings on the Ohio River and decided to crash into a bridge. So that was fun. But after that, I got back onto the floor and bartending and working raw bar and occasionally serving. And so I just, it's not a high turnaround restaurant. It's not McDonald's. Most people are there. They're there for 20 years. And I left. And I just respect it so much. If you're in the Cincinnati, Columbus, or Louisville area, you go to Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse. You will not be disappointed. Bring maybe a second mortgage on your home because every time we go there, we spend about $500. But we get a really good bottle of wine. We get an appetizer. We get raw bar. We get our own steaks. We go hard in the paint because we only do it like once or twice a year.
Yeah.
And you're there for your anniversary, which is what we always usually went there for. Yeah. That's a great story. I don't know if Heather wants me to tell it, but it is a pretty
Let's
funny
hear
story.
it. Let's hear it.
Sure. So
We're talking about dating. Let's
we
hear
knew
it.
we knew we were gonna knew I was gonna propose. In fact, we both knew. She had literally picked out the ring. Like, what do you like? What do you want? And then went and got it, right. As some people call it lazy, I call it smart, because I wasn't gonna lose. She was gonna be like, "Oh, my engagement ring sucks." No, I knew exactly what she wanted. I went and got it. So we went to the Jeff Ruby's precinct in Cincinnati, and yeah, it came back to bite me. Then I knew everybody in the company, and so everybody's like, "Oh, wow, where you been? How you doing?" And every 5 minutes, somebody's bringing something. The assistant GM's bringing something. The GM stopping by. GM's giving me his card. We'd love to have you back. And I'm like, "Oh, I'd have to shave my beard." I mean, if they were truly serious, I might have really thought about it, but shaving my beard, but because that's like, that's $50K without even really having to work that much. That's how awesome that place is. But I kept trying to get up the nerve, and everybody kept stopping by. They'd bring us something, a little treat here, a little treat there, a little conversation here, and then the couple next to us were celebrating their anniversary, so they started up a conversation with. I'm like, shit. Like 2.5 hours go by and I can't get this ring out of my pocket. What am I gonna do? All right, figure something out. Just adapt and overcome. And a bunch of the guys and girls I knew, they're like, "Hey, we're going to this bar, just a half a block away. It's where we always go after work." And I'm like, "Yeah, I get it. Service Park. Cool. Meet you over there." So my buddy Hot Rod, we call him Hot Rod because he's about 5'3". He's like $160, and he's just a little spitfire. Just runs around. He was our expo for almost all the big time restaurants, all the big events in Ruby's Ruby family. He's just amazing at it. He's just a ninja. And he's like, "So, I heard you were like gonna propose." I'm like, "Yeah, but I couldn't because you assholes kept coming up to the table every time I stick my hand in my pocket. Here you come. Hey, what you guys doing?" I'm like, "Oh." So he's like, "You got your ring on?" He's like, "Well, step right up and go." I'm like, "You," and I, let off a slew of old, new, and inventive curse words. And I'm like, "All right, what the hell? Screw it." So I say, "Hey, Michelle, sit down by the fireplace. I got to ask you something." And I knelt down and I asked her to marry me. And it was sweet. It was beautiful. I thought I did terrible. She said I did great. But the funniest part of the story was there was literally the whole patio. This bar was packed. Half the crowd was like, "Oh my God." And the other half of the crowd, which were men, were like, "You mother." Just, I got some shitty looks from
Now
dude.
we're gonna freaking get an earful.
Yeah, you just crushed all our nights. He's like, "I've known her for 2 hours. I hate you already." Like, so it was funny. It was good, but I still talk to him this day. He calls me, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Hey, when I lived in Cincinnati, you want to go to the range?" "Yeah, sure, I'll go to the range." "Hey, what do you think about me buying this?" I'm like, "Stop asking me. Like, stop asking me about buying a $3,200 gun, all right? Because you're just really pissing me off." But he's a good guy. I still talk to him to this day. But yeah, it was so funny. I was trying all night, trying to get up the nerve, and finally pulled the trigger. And she said, "Yeah." I mean, obviously, right? So
She obviously said yes.
yes,
That's
yes.
awesome. My friend's husband proposed to her in Sedona a couple of years, and they didn't know anybody was watching. And someone saw what they were doing. They're like, "Oh my God, we have to take a picture." And then they send them the pictures. They met up with them on the hike. Like, "Oh, we saw what you guys were doing. We sent you pictures." So they got really beautiful pictures. So John is saying, "You need to watch the sun come up over the Alabama River just south of Chattanooga."
I do like Alabama. I was stationed at Redstone Arsenal, Alabama. A word of advice: if you ever get stationed there or have to go there, do not go to the NASA Chow Hall and scream "Sieg Heil." They don't like that very much. But I thought it was funny. But yeah, oh, of course. Our dream.
Sorry, guys, I'm at the warehouse.
Yeah, no worries. It's our dream. If we ever hit the lottery, the first thing we do is buy a big old ridiculously pimped out coach bus and just go see all 50 or I don't know, I can't remember how much she told me. All the national parks. And just drive all around the country for a year and just see national parks.
And if people didn't know, national park entrances, you can get a lifetime membership for if you're rated any kind of disability rating that you have. It could be 5% or it could be 100%. You get a lifetime membership to all national parks.
Yep.
And that includes the people in the car with you.
Yep.
And you get a discount on camping because I use the, let me look it up because you guys are going to want to use it. It's an app for campgrounds called recreation.gov. That has all of the federal managed campgrounds, and most of those campgrounds are managed by the Army Corps of Engineering, and they are nice as hell. Like, all the grounds are nice. They're like landscaped. They're on beautiful waterways, clean showers, laundry, everything. And with your discount with that pass, it's like $12 a night to camp.
It's nothing.
So, yeah, I took advantage of that last year. I decided I didn't want to go back to Florida where it was so hot. So when I was in Atlanta, I came up to Tennessee, just west of the Smoky Mountains, and I found one of those campgrounds by pure accident. And I was like, oh, this is a federal campground. I'm like, does my card work here? And they're like, yeah, it's like 50% discount. And it was like a whole huge lake system in Tennessee. I didn't even know was there. I was on the water and I liked it so much. I actually stayed for like 2 weeks. Like, I'm on my own in a tent, just hanging out by the water. It was freaking amazing.
Yeah, if you don't take the opportunity of those national parks, you're silly. You can make an argument about federal land and all that stuff, but they are beautiful. I've been to several, but I mean, Joshua Tree for me is definitely up there. Big Sur is probably my favorite, but it's really expensive to stay around there because it is, and it's California.
The last time I was in Big Sur, oh my gosh, I was in the back. We were in a like Volkswagen van, and I was in the back, and I got like so sick because that road. I was like, oh my god, I don't ever want to be on this road again.
Those Volkswagen vans, those old school ones, they got great suspension, you know. Yeah, so you're like, it's almost like riding on a topsy-turvy boat in the middle of some really wicked wake. Yeah, not fun at all. So I don't blame you.
We actually had two vans. We had a Vanagon, and then we got a Westphalia. We got a screaming deal, and that was like 20 years ago. Nice. It had been completely remodeled, full kitchen, bed up top. And I'm kind of kicking myself that we ever sold that because that same van is now worth probably $80,000. Because even when I was looking at like the 23 window vans, they're running for $80,000 to $100,000.
Damn! It's all
they're
those
novelty
tech nerds, man. It's all those tech nerd hipsters buying shit up.
Hippies can't afford
the
hippie vehicles anymore.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? The people's car, you know, pretty much that's Volkswagen. The people's car is no longer a people's car anymore.
No. Nope.
So.
And I've had many Volkswagens, and I like them. So I kind of always just wanted, you know, to have one of those vans. I thought they were really cool, especially if I was going to live by the beach. I was like, I really want like a van that I can like throw like, you know, paddle boards in and kayaks and stuff like that and not worry too much about it. But then I saw the price tag and I was like, oh, never mind.
You buy one of those now, that's your house. That's not like a 2-year adventure. That's your home now. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're like that, you know, like I said, if I could afford it, we'd be like that. We just ride in just a pimped out coach and just go gypsy around the country. I mean, there's so many places around here to go see. I mean, geez, I mean, you can't name a place that doesn't have a beautiful spot in it. In this, I mean, we're blessed here. You're blessed you hit the genetic lottery if you were born here. You really did. There's so many places in this country that are absolutely beautiful. Northwest, Southwest, you know, mountain zones, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado. Oh, I mean, if you're sick of living in the Midwest, you want to see green all year, move out west. Move out to Colorado, Idaho, Wyoming. You'll see it.
That's where I grew up. And I appreciate it a lot more now. When I was a kid, I hated living in a small town. But now I go back and I'm like, wow. Yeah. This is where I grew up.
I was the exact opposite. I grew up a city boy until I joined the Marine Corps. And then, you know, I got to go to little places in Alabama. I got to go to, of course, 29 Palms, which everybody hates. And I get why, because there's fucking nothing to do there. But for me, as long as I had beer, I was fine. I loved it on the desert. I would take a Humvee and drive off trail and go up and just park and just sit there on a hood and drink. Yes, you can do that in the Marine Corps. Trust me.
Humvees are fun to drive.
Oh, well,
They're
yeah,
fun to
yeah.
drive.
As long as they don't fail you, they're great. You know, they've started more fires than arsonists the world over combined, because you park those son of bitches on a little bit of a dry piece of grass in like late August, and you've got a fire. But yeah, I mean, that's why Joshua Tree's probably one of my favorite things. I think I told you a story before. We had snow on the Cax in February, and yeah, the snow hit the ground and it kind of evaporated, but enough hit that where it sunk down. You know, the next damn day, the whole desert just exploded, and I'm like, what the hell? This is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Yes, there's nothing to do outside of town, nothing, and it's the fuck games in the Marine Corps are taken to another level. It's not Gitmo level, but it's definitely a high level of screwing with you and trying to destroy your morale. But I don't know. I knew I could always on the weekend just sneak off and just chill by myself. I loved it out there. So quiet. I think that's why I love the desert. It's so quiet. It's just you
It
just
is
sit
so
up and
quiet.
lay back, and you know, you hear your heartbeat and wind blowing your ear. I mean, it's just
And you can see the Milky Way like perfectly
mm.
in New Mexico. Like it's right there. It's boom. My son has some crazy desert stories. In addition to getting his vehicle stuck many times, I came home from a weekend in Santa Fe and I walked out onto my patio to see a diamondback rattlesnake in a cage, and I was like, "Where the fuck did this freaking rattlesnake come from?" He's like, "Oh, I caught it," and I was like, "You caught a rattlesnake? It was huge."
Yeah, they're fat.
And I was like, take that rattlesnake back to the desert right now. It's wild. It needs to go back to its home.
Yeah.
Take it back right now. So he told me he did. And about a week later, I walked out. We had a Land Cruiser that we were working on that wasn't drivable. I went to go get something out of it. I opened the door, and freaking rattlesnake is looking at me. I'm like, God damn it, Chris. I told you to get rid of this rattlesnake. What the hell?
Boys will be boys, right? Yeah.
He was like, if you look up boy in the dictionary, that's my son.
Yeah, that's At least he's predictable.
Anything that you could think that a boy would do, he was like 1,000 times max. I don't know how I survived.
Boys love their mothers. They love to torture them, but they love them. You know, more than anything. I see it with my son. You know, he drives her insane, and it just is what it is. You know, I mean, boys
That's just
will be
how
boys.
boys are.
Yeah,
they're so much different than raising girls. It's not even funny. So we got Nick on. He just hit me up. He's like, "Oh my God, it's the wrong time."
Yeah,
Hey,
sorry
Matt.
about that.
That's okay. So here's our guest. Me and Minnie been bullshitting, but just got the wrong time. No worries.
Sorry about that. I was actually sitting in dinner in Nashville, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to leave right now. I've got this radio interview, and I was like, oh crap.
That's all right. We're pretty easy here at the station. No worries. But I want to introduce everybody to you. This is Nick Gardner. I met him at the Irreverent Warrior hike in Nashville last year, and I had a great time with him. Saw him that night when we had the after party, and he has this. Was telling us about how now, after he got out of the Army, he's actually racing cars.
Marines.
He's got this Marines. Apologies. Don't want to mess that up. I apologize. Marines.
Don't associate me with that crowd.
Shots fired.
And he's got this really beautiful dog that is the sweetest dog ever. So tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
So my name's Nick, and I'm originally from California. After the Marines, I was with 3-7. I got out in 2010 after my deployment to Hangen. We switched out with the British 40th Commandos there. I came back, and my family had moved to Tennessee, retired after that 2008-2009 recession. And I decided, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to move out here. So I moved out here. And my brother, he was SEAL Team 7 for a while, and he was contracting overseas. And he was like, hey, you want a job? And so I didn't know what it was. And I was like, sure, why not? And I did that for the last 10 years until I was there in August. And then I've been racing now for 2 seasons. This will be my 3rd season with Grid Life. We do time attack racing. So it's all like the road course stuff. And on top of that, I just got an assistant instructor gig teaching CQB with Warrior Poet Society.
Nice. Yeah, you just let me know that. And did you have something else? Is that Warrior Poet Society associated with the Cadre Canine? Is that?
No, actually, the canine business actually is my own. So I've been working closely with Second Chance Canine. I know the owner of that. They're a rescue up in Clarksville, and they rescue Belgians, Shepherds, and Dutches, and they retrain them for special operations veterans that need service dogs.
Nice.
And so since I have my own service dog, I've been working with him lately, and he kind of pushed me to start my own training company. So I just literally did that 2 weeks ago. Did the LLC. I haven't done anything else with it. I've trained 2 dogs now, and it was funny because the first dog that I did was this Australian Shepherd that would just bark at anything, like never went outside, never did anything. And within like a 4-day period, I had her walking off the leash, not barking. And I guess his wife was so impressed that I guess they do investing, and now they want to invest in a brick and mortar spot for me.
That's amazing.
Fucking A, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna be moving up to the Nashville area, so I want to hook up and like learn more about that because, especially I was out with the teams and I was out with Cairo. I was on deployment with Cairo on the very first deployment he had as well, and that's kind of where I started to learn more about him and just have mad respect for him and stuff like that. And the one time that I went to I had just gotten there and I saw her trainer Cheese came in walking her in the gym, and I just automatically went out to reach for her. He's like, "Please don't touch her." And I was like, I'm sorry. But then when she would, when they would get back and we would be done training and stuff like that, we could play with her a little bit. But they convinced one of my friends to wear one of the fat suits. And they'd asked me to wear one. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And she's like, "Oh, I'll do it. And so she starts walking, and then they just like let Cairo go. And she looked behind her and just saw this gator rise up in the air, arch back down, and grab a hold of her arm and knock her down. And she was screaming bloody murder. And that's why I didn't do it.
It's funny.
But yeah, I would love to learn more about that, and just come see how you guys train, because I'm really interested in that. I think it takes a special kind of person to be able to train dogs. I don't think that anybody can do that. And reading Will's book, gosh, I can't even remember what it's called. He wrote a book about Cairo and joining SEAL Team 6 and everything like that. But I learned a lot. He talked a lot about how they train them and how they go over and pick them up and kind of pair them up with their handlers and everything. So I find it really, really fascinating to learn about that. And while we're on the subject, I think you posted this too. We want to make sure that people are aware that these dogs are not like average dogs, because there's a movie out about them right now. And kind of sometimes we see like people go and adopt that breed once they see them in a movie, but people really need to understand, Belgian Malinois are not that kind of dog that you just go out and adopt.
And unfortunately, the movies, they never put out a discreditor. You always see like a movie like Jackass, and it's like they put disclaimer: these stunts are done by professionals, and it's like, all right, so how about you put that out for the dog? Hey, this dog is a working breed dog. Do not go out and buy this dog.
Yeah, unless you're going to work that dog, unless you're going to walk several times a day, you're going to build a challenge set in the backyard for it so you can work them out. Or if it's a retired drug dog, you gotta work their you gotta work that angle on them.
Oh, well, no, this is actually Moxie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Moxie. That's right. You got another
So
one.
she is 5 months. She's my new one. Riley, come up here. Come here. Come on. Right here. Come on.
Riley, you gonna come on camera?
Oh.
It's a little dark. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Let's see if I can. See if I can get her to.
I see her. She's got her
Yeah,
own
we-
Instagram page, right?
She's back there. Riley, what are you doing?
I love that picture, like the goggles.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
During the hikes, some of the littler dogs they've been putting in the backpacks, and they got like little goggles on while we're hiking. It's
Oh
adorable.
yeah, the rec specs. Yeah.
So when you're racing, are you just racing in the state of Tennessee, or are you going out of state?
No,
Because I don't really know. That's
actually,
why I brought Minnie on, because Minnie has Sports Church. She has a podcast called Sports Church.
Yeah, there's actually no racetracks here in Tennessee. So my closest racetrack that I race here is actually in Bowling Green, and it's called NCM Motorsports Park.
Yep.
And it's actually right next to the National Corvette Museum.
Yeah, their test track is right there too.
Yeah, that's literally the track that they use, their test track. It's called the National Corvette Museum Motorsports Park.
Yep.
So I'll race there. That's actually my first race is in April there for this season. And then in June, I'll be up actually in South Haven, Michigan. And then from there in August, I'll go to Ohio. And then I think there's one, it's called Lime Rock Park. It's a real old, famous racetrack. I think that's up near New York somewhere. And then my last one's in Kansas. So I kind of go everywhere.
How did you get into racing?
So I used to track my motorcycle back when I was in the Marines. And then from there, I did some defensive driving courses. And then I got into drag racing. And then I got rid of my drag racer, and I went and bought a Jeep, and I started doing rock crawl. And then after that, I've always been doing a little bit of, it's called HPDE. It's high performance driver's education. So learning about, the track, how the car performs, you got your tires, everything. So I started doing that, and then I found Grid Life, and Grid Life was more of an entry level event. And then now it's starting to get so much bigger that I'm actually really happy to have been a part of it since, it was a little bit smaller. So it's getting a lot more competitive, and I'm actually really enjoying it.
It's Nick, right?
Yes.
All right. You ever heard of Battle Scarred Motorsports?
No, I have not.
You should check him out. So it's a friend of mine. He's actually just about to retire from the Marine Corps. He's a warrant officer, so you never see him. But yeah, it was formerly USMC Racing. Then Headquarters Marine Corps actually sent him a letter saying you can't use our USMC anymore. And I'm like, wow, that's
oh wow,
dirty. Yeah, that's a little dirty. But considering it was already a 501c3, so he had to go through and file everything all over again. But yeah, he's out of Louisiana. And he was out there with the 4th Marine Corps, the reserve division, but he's active duty. And yeah, you should look him up, check him out. His name is Brian Check. Awesome guy, really guy. I mean, they're running 3 cars right now. They do basically what's called like the 24-hour of lemons. So you race kind of like
the shitty cars.
Yeah, but they put money into them. They beef the engines up. They're not allowed to spend so much money per car or whatever like that. But
yeah, they got to keep it running for the entire 24 hours.
Yes, that's the whole goal. Just keep it racing. And their thing is they put veterans, active duty, and first responders in those cars as a way to deal with PTSD awesome. And everything like that. So you definitely should look them up, and you guys could probably do some cross promotional stuff or some racing together. I'm sure Brian will put you in a car in a heartbeat if you knew you already had experience. He'll put anybody in a car. He's crazy. He's a lunatic. Yeah. But if you got experience already, what are you running now in all these tracks though? I mean, is it just Go ahead. Sorry.
So I actually in at the end of 2019, I have a 2020 Shelby GT500 that I've been building up. I see your eyes.
There's like a bromance brewing
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
As of right now, I'm making around mid 800 horsepower. And this season is the first season where it won't be full weight. I'm actually dropping about 200 pounds out of the car. So like the past 2 seasons, it was actually my daily driver. So I'd go out and I'd run it on the track, and I rented a truck and I had my trailer. And then as soon as I got back, I'd go to the grocery store with it. I'd go to the gym with it. And I would race this, $100,000 car, and then I'd go drive it everywhere, including in the snow. And people are always looking at me like, really, really? I'm like, yeah, it's the only thing I can afford, but whatever.
Oh, dude, there's nothing funner than driving a rear-wheel drive muscle car in the snow. If you know how to do it, it's fun.
Oh, yeah.
It is so fun. You can scare people. I mean, I grew up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where it snows, Green Bay sometimes by the foot, right? So, and Heather knows all about that too. But my dad took me out when I was 15 years old in a brand new 1995 Ford Mustang GT, canary yellow, by the way, just to stand out a little bit more. And like, let's go through the Walmart parking lot. And this because you had Walmart and Sam's Club right next to each other, so massive parking lot. And then he was like, "All right, get on it." I'm like, okay, and he just grabbed the wheel, jerk it, and pop the parking brake, and woo, there I went. And he's like, "All right, recover." I'm like, pole. There's a pole. There's a pole. There's a pole. He's like, pop on it, and there I went. I'm like, oh, this is fun. I like this. So, I don't know why people don't like this. This is great.
So do you know who Randy Popes is?
I've heard the name, sure.
So he's real famous IMSA driver. He's done a lot of. He's always in like the road and track and the car and driver magazines.
Yeah. He's a sports car
testing.
driver. Yeah.
So last year I went to VIR, and he's a world-renowned race car driver. He, in my car stock form, he did a 155 around Virginia International Raceway, and that's professional. And last year I went to VIR, and with full weight and everything in my car, obviously I had some extra aero and stuff, but I did a 158, and I was happy to be within 3 seconds of his time.
Right. Oh, hell yeah, I would be too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to drive Nürburgring?
I would love to. If I could afford it.
Oh yeah. So what is this? 12.2 mile track, and yeah, it costs probably $50,000 to get on there and do a test. I'm guessing
the closest I've gotten so far to a big track is I've raced at Road America now twice. So yeah.
Yes, so have I. Yes.
At Road America last year, I did a 222.
Woo! You're moving. That's not bad at all.
Yeah,
man.
I was moving.
Not bad at all. I love that track. I grew up around it basically, and it's turn 1 fine, turn 2 fine, 3. I think it's 5. It's 5 when you go down, and then it's that quick left up the hill. It's 5 or 6. I can't remember.
1, 2. So are you talking about
you come off a right, you go down the hill, and you take a quick left, and then you come underneath this big Dunlop tire sign, they change it. But
no, that's so when you come out of turn 3, it's essentially right past. So you got turn 1, and then it's kind of like a 2, and then it's turn 3, and on that back straight right there, it leads into turn 5. But you don't go really down. You go underneath the sign, and then you go up a hill. Yeah.
The right where the sand pit is on the right. Like if you miss that turn, you go.
That's turn 6. That's turn 7 and 8.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's only been 20 years, so. But yeah. I love it because you see pros, IndyCar, NASCAR go right into that, and you're like, I did that too.
Yeah. No, it's pretty harrowing.
Oh yeah.
Now I feel left out.
Ah,
I'm not
no,
gonna have to like go like jump in a car one of these days so I can.
oh, you definitely should. It's fun. It's
It
great.
sounds like fun.
Yeah, and there's plenty of programs out there too, and like that's why I love Battle Scar Motorsports is they take anybody. Just
We
all
should
you
go
do
down there and
sign
do a
up.
show, Minnie.
Oh, we've had him on a bunch of times. I just haven't had him lately because he's doing a full race schedule now. He just started up again for
Well,
sure.
no, I mean like go down to the track and
Oh, I
like
would love to. I
and
would
like
love to
film
do
you
that.
like getting in the car, and that would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else are you doing, man? I mean, what else is on the life besides the racing and you got the gators going, which by the way, God bless you because those dogs take a lot of work. They're awesome. It's rewarding for sure, but they take a
Yeah.
lot of work. They really do. Like you gotta
She's
put in work.
sleeping right now.
Ah, look at that.
Aw, so cute.
We've
Well, I
had a
hate
busy
to break
day.
it up, but we actually are coming to the end of the hour. We got another show coming on at 9, but definitely I think I brought Minnie on because I thought you guys would probably connect. Minnie's got a podcast called Sports Church she does every week. And so I knew you guys would get
perfect.
along. So that's why I wanted to kind of make the introduction.
I like his beard.
He's got an awesome beard.
But yeah, I'd love to chat with him more. If you just send me his contact info.
Well, we can get off air and we can chat afterwards.
Yeah.
There's no worries.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So everybody, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for our viewers that always come on every week. And for our new viewers, thank you for also checking us out. I hope you guys have a great week and a great weekend. And if you drink, please come drink one with us here on Vet Radio Syndicate. Having a great night, y'all.
Let's go.